Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 2 in the series between mTw SuperNova and Mouse Sports' Hasu here on Cloud Kingdom. SuperNova spawning as the red Terran player on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Hasu spawning as the blue Protoss. And so far, the games from SuperNova have been very entertaining. We've seen some very different strategies, a little bit more of an early pressure tactic coming in from SuperNova, but I wouldn't call it of the dairy or cheese variety at all. A little bit of mind games, no sort of proxy antics, just very strong map awareness in Game 1, giving him the victory, and we'll see what SuperNova pulls off now in Game 2. Now, we did see SuperNova go for a lot of one-racks expands against a Zerg player, but he hasn't shown that yet against Hasu. So far, Hasu has been doing fast expansion attempts as well, and he opened up with a one-gate expand after the Cybernetics core, and then after that Nexus was destroyed, quickly went into another one-gate expand, as we now see the SCV simply retreat and return back home, and we may be seeing that same one racks or fast expansion this time around, as SuperNova not even bothering with a barracks, maybe going for a 15 or even a 16 CC here on Cloud Kingdom. Now, this is rather dangerous to do, but Hasu is not doing any sort of proxy play whatsoever, and by not doing that proxy gateway play, SuperNova should be able to set up a fast command center with little to no problem whatsoever. Command center now being built off over here, a little bit out of the way so that it is actually not spotted by a scouting probe. Now, if Hasu was to scout right now, he would take a look around the base and say, all right, two things can either be happening. He's hiding a command center or he's hiding a barracks, and somewhere on the map, and he needs to quickly find it so that he can react accordingly. So far, it is going to be a 16 command center, or sorry, a 15 command center, followed by, I believe, a 15 barracks. He did slow down his SCV production just a little bit, and now going into a double racks build here in order to increase his unit supply. So far, one Zealot will be out momentarily. Hasu likes to move out with these early Zealots, gain some early map control and map sight. As we are going into that Cybernetics core, perhaps we'll see the chrono boosting of Warp Gate tech. Nope, it is going to be a Nexus instead, as Hasu now moves out with this Zealot. Alright, Orbital Command now being upgraded at one of the command centers. Second command center should be upgrading as well. There you go. You're now sitting at 19/30, no longer being supply block. SuperNova gonna benefit from the additional 11 supply from that command center, and then try to train up a lot of Marines. That Marine will have a very difficult time going up against the Zealot, though, as the Zealot, once it gets within melee range, should have no problems. But SuperNova already one step ahead, pulling that Marine back behind the safety of his barracks. All right. Zealot now scouting out, doesn't see very much, but he does see a double barracks on the front door, and I wonder what Hasu is assuming at this point. He may assume that he has the economic advantage since he already has his Nexus about 80% done, but this could just simply be another mind game, as SuperNova going to be landing this command center and now establishing up a bunker. So this one orbital command will be operational much more quickly, as Stalker's now going to try to engage, and oh, that's going to be a bad engagement, as Hasu being forced to retreat once more. You see 5 Marines there. We are going to be adding a bunker here as well, and we'll see what will be happening next as we are going into a factory. Still no add-ons by the barracks, which is a key point of interest. We'll see what add-ons SuperNova does add, and when he adds them, as he definitely needs Stim, Combat Shield, or something of that variety. Alright. Nexus just setting up over here. Hasu with a slight worker advantage, 28/25, but SuperNova does have those mules, and those mules are mining away here at the natural. So far, it looks like SuperNova should be able to get a large number of units, as we see the Marines are now making their way out. One Zealot does try to back off, and is this probe going to be able to slip by? Yes, it will, and Hasu may actually be able to sneak in some units along the back side here and walk up that ramp. There is only one Marine in this bunker, So if any units try to, or if any number of gateway units try to take down this bunker, they should be able to win out here, as the Marines are simply just trekking over as quickly as possible. Stalkers now making their way in as well. This front door is completely wide open, and Hasu going to be losing some probes here. 1 probe, 2 probe, 3, 4 probes, 5 probes now taken down, as the Marines are now going to try to be going up the ramp. And oh, no force field on the ramp at all. And no Guardian Shield either. A little bit of a mistake by Hasu, asleep at the wheel as he's trying to figure out how to take down all of these units here. You can see all of the Stalkers simply ignoring the front door. Supply depot now being raised. That's not going to do much of anything as the Siege Tank joins in on the fight. The Siege Tank with a range of 7 will win out on this fight, as the Stalkers are now currently stuck. Meanwhile, Marines engaging up against Stalkers here. Both sides taking very, very heavy hits. 12 workers lost compared to 11. And who has the advantage? I'm not quite sure. 30 probes, 26 SCVs. Siege Tank now with siege mode should be able to cover that front door very, very easily, and make sure no Stalkers are simply able to walk in. So the Siege Tanks, are they going to siege up next to each other? No, they should be spaced out a little bit, making sure that if any Stalkers try to get within range of one, they end up getting shot by both. And nope, it looks like this Siege Tank doesn't want to siege. No, is it going to? I'm not sure. Alright, so that Siege Tank just simply sitting there. Stalker now trying to test the front doors. No observers to gain sight onto that Siege Tank, and it decides to back off as it knows that it cannot stand up to the firepower of one Siege Tank if it can't attack that Siege Tank. Twilight Council now being added. Double assimilators over here at the natural. Hasu getting back into this game and quickly surpassing his opponent in terms of harvester count. 42 compared to 34 now. Been chrono boosting out a lot of workers and should be able to retake that economic lead momentarily. We don't see any additional command centers being built by SuperNova. No additional orbitals, so he won't be able to strip mine that quickly. And still, interestingly enough, none of these players are really getting heavy upgrades. SuperNova is sitting on 1-0 upgrades, now finally getting 1-1. We don't see the typical double engineering bay upgrades that normally Terran players utilize. Zealots still sitting at the front door. Do we see a forge yet? We don't see a forge. We do have Zealot legs instead, and Zealot legs will help those Zealots catch up to Marines when they're not stimmed, and that charge will even add a little bit more. Marines, 1-0 upgrades, now moving out with Siege Tanks. We may have that same cautionary tactic again, as the medevac may get spotted. Is it going to get spotted? No, it is not going to get spotted, as it is moving out at the same time as these Siege Tanks and Marines. The Siege Tanks deal a lot of damage. They do have a little bit further range than these Stalkers, and now what's going to be happening as the Stalkers are just picking off units, picking off Marines with their superior range and the use of that high ground. The Stalkers now being forced to retreat as this one Zealot realizes that it can't stand here for very long. Siege Tanks pushing back those Stalkers and returning home. Meanwhile, a drop now into the main, and SuperNova pretty much being almost everywhere at once. Stim is not yet done, but it able to take down one High Templar, and that is a huge victory, as SuperNova may be forced to retreat here, able to pull back with all of those units. Probes are able to go back to work, but now we see a large attack coming up on the front door, and Hasu will have to be very careful once again. SuperNova may come back with this medevac. Is he going to be doing exactly that? No, not quite yet. If anything tries to come down that ramp right now, they will just get shelled by 4 Siege Tanks, meaning Zealots are going to have a very, very bad day alongside those Stalkers. One medevac here, and oh, there's the attack. One medevac feedback down, and wow, Hasu getting very lucky with that 10 supply swing. SuperNova with a heavy loss there. He is still ahead in this matchup. Let's take a look at the overall worker kill count. 18 versus 11. We do see a ninja expansion on the top left, but SuperNova gonna try to lay down more pressure once more. This ninja expansion, will it be successful? That is the key question. That is not your typical third base location at all, as SuperNova now backing off. 51 harvesters compared to 49. More High Templar, more probes still being added here, and we'll see when the next base will be established. You can see pylons are in position to reinforce just in case any medevacs do fly overhead. All right, coming in next, Hasu with brilliant pylon placement should be able to spot drops pretty easily if they try to come inside the base, but I am still surprised that I don't see that many observers coming in from Hasu for all of the dead zone up here. He's already fallen victim to a drop once, and now that SuperNova is going to be coming back over the top with a much larger army, if SuperNova is able to attack while Hasu is not looking or is away, that is going to be, once again, a very, very painful reality as another Zealot does get taken down. All of these Zealots and even a High Templar now being forced to retreat. That High Templar doesn't have that much energy. What is it going to really do? Down goes the High Templar. Should not have engaged there at all, as the Zealots are now coming into a problem. High Templar, is it going to be able to run away? There's a Psystorm, and a beautiful baited Psystorm at that, as the Zealots now getting shelled again. Another Psystorm there, and Hasu able to repel the attack, but is it going to be enough, as bunkers are now going to be established? High Templars could try to feed back those medevacs. One medevac very low on hit points, should not be picking up units at all. And here we go. Medevac, there's a Psystorm. Units are all trying to retreat once more. And the cover from the low ground may be a bit too much, though, as the Stalkers getting shelled once again. Zealots, there's the Psystorm. Are they going to be able to pick up again? Yes, they are. And now, once again, unloading both sides. Another High Templar, a free give me almost. But all that was to bait another Psystorm and then merge into an Archon. Level 1 armor upgrades coming in. Curious upgrades, since the Archons are really going to be needed. Siege tanks trying to get in position once more, maybe able to get off some easy shots again, as that Archon should be able to take a licking and keep on ticking. It is not armored, meaning that the siege tanks on the low ground are not going to be dealing that much damage. More high pressure coming in. Oh, another Psystorm comes in as well. More Marines. Zealots now trying to push in. And what's going to be happening here as the High Templars may try to get some Psystorm, another feedback onto some low ground units, but unable, or onto the medevac, but unable to destroy it. Still offering sight up onto the high ground. Hasu now ready, already getting additional assimilators here at his third base. He won't be behind. And SuperNova may think that he has this game in the bag, but Hasu, with those additional reinforcements and the additional income from the third base, may be able to win in a war of attrition just because he has a bit of that defender's advantage. Psystorm straight up on some siege tanks. Are we going to see some more Psystorm? Yes, we are. Archon should be merging. They are. Yes, they are finally merging here, as the Stalker is going to be trying to attack up onto the high ground. But Hasu really just rushing into this fortified position, taking a lot more damage than he perhaps wanted or expected, not thinking that there was really that many siege tanks on the low ground. So far, Stalkers attempting to push back here. The siege tanks providing so much coverage once more. The Marauders and the Marines able to just slowly inch forward in this fight. And I believe as soon as SuperNova realizes that there's an expansion here, that will be a guarantee victory, as the Zealots are going to now attempt to destroy this orbital command before it even gets up and running. High Templar is coming over. It looks as though the orbital command will be backing off. And what is going to be happening here? This front door is pretty much wide open, but there is no real way that Hasu can attempt to take this position, as there in comes one Psystorm. Zealots, beautiful Psystorms at that. Is the High Templar going to perhaps be able to get another Psystorm on some SCVs? Yes, able to get 3 kills, but that is not enough, especially as Marauders and the Marines are going to be able to do that kiting dance with those medevacs to push and retreat. All right. Stalkers continuing to engage. It is going to be 2 bases to 2 now. Hasu no longer with the economic advantage. 1-1 upgrades against 1-1 upgrades for Hasu. High Templars need to get some Psystorm in. Marauders finishing off the forges before they can get any more upgrades in. And I believe SuperNova, with the 80 supply advantage, more than double his opponent now, is moments away from victory, especially as there's still a lot of probes. Stalkers now trying to blink down, able to do so, picking off a couple units. Psystorm is able to deal a little bit more damage on units on the run, but now that SuperNova has a base advantage over his opponent, I believe that's going to be too little too late for Hasu. Hasu now down to 73, SuperNova sitting at 160, and SuperNova perhaps wondering why Hasu has yet to leave the game. He doesn't know that about that expansion on the top left, as you remember, but Hasu still gives the GG. Well played, and SuperNova takes 2 games straight up in this 3-game set. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 2 in this series.